it would be really nice to have like an area that I built myself. I brought it up the first time I played Minecraft, or not the first time, but when I was playing with Cece, I thought it would be really nice to when I have Kohai in the future, they can come here and they'll look at my building and then they'll be like, oh, Gigi made this, and I'll be like, yeah, because I felt that way when I was touring the Minecraft server. It's like, wow, there's a lot of history here, and all my senpai built all this stuff and they have a lot of memories. So I would like, you know, even though I don't really super care for Minecraft, I think it's like the sediment, the sediment of it all. Flow Glow is already here. I'm shy to talk to them. They're all very nice, but I know I come off as super extroverted, but it's because I've powered through. You know, you're introverted for long enough and you learn how to speak to people, and a lot of it, my speaking skills comes from understanding the mood and the vibes of the people I'm talking to, so I can generally tell how to shift a conversation. But I don't have any of that if I'm talking in a language I don't understand. So I'm not a very good speaker if I can't assess the situation. Yeah, I would say I'm a trained extrovert. I was never an extrovert growing up. I was definitely 100% an introvert, and I was really shy, and I would wait for other people to speak to me. But I've learned how to speak to people, so it is easier for me to start conversations. How do you gain this power? I think eventually, you know, it is kind of difficult to put yourself out there, I will say, but I think eventually you go through enough experiences and you put up with a lot of things that you feel generally more brave in approaching other people. I think the best way to think of things is that if you have a negative experience talking to someone, you can just never talk to them again. And I think a huge problem when speaking to people is that you think that you're gonna commit a social faux pas, and they're gonna remember that for their entire life. But one thing to know is that people, they generally will not think of you. It's like, we're so in our own heads that we're kind of like narcissistic to a point that we think that other people think about us, but they really don't. Other people generally, if you like weird them out, they'll like never think of you ever again. So if you think of it in that way, you can have like the worst experience ever. You could feel like, oh my god, I flubbed that conversation, and now it's cringe and I can't show my face. But I assured you, in like a week, they've already forgotten that they've spoken to you. I think there's like situations where you're like, oh, but I really like this person and we're like in the same spaces, so I want to talk to them. But you can't ever really force something. But I think generally people love being reached out to and they love being spoken to. And if you are a generally good listener and you think someone's really cool, try like just reaching out to them and just listening. Because people love to talk about themselves. And that is some social tips if you want to feel more extroverted. Because the hardest part is reaching out to them, but once you get them talking about themselves, you've already, you know, reached the high point of the hurdle. The hurdle was reaching out, and now you're like cruising. If they get to the point where they're just talking, and then you can just sit back and then like comment based off of what they're saying to you. Yeah, listen with interest. I won't act like I have mastered social interactions, because I feel really awkward too. Like sometimes I talk and I feel really, really awkward, or I feel like things are going wrong, but that is not how other people perceive how I took that conversation a lot. Like I can feel like, oh, this was strange, and now I like, do you ever imagine the Sims minus relationship point popping up above someone's head when you're talking to them? Like sometimes you can literally see it happening in real time. You're like, ooh, oof. But most of the time, you're imagining things. And then that's not how they saw that interaction at all. Also, very difficult to do. But if you feel like something's been awkward, just try to play it off. Joke it off. You can always usually laugh your way out of a bad conversation. You know, you say something wrong, you're like, haha, I was joking. Yeah, straight at the social interaction party, straight up joking it. And by it, let's just say my anxiety. Believe me when I say this, but I am an incredibly socially anxious person. And sometimes I can get really worked up over like the smallest things. Where I guess a good example would be Maple Story. And in Maple Story, there's this thing called the hell? Monster Park Extreme. And when you get a high enough level, you have to start doing it. Monster Park Extreme. But it's a party thing. It's party play. And it always scares me. Like, I'll get really upset at the beginning. And when I first did it, I was really upset going to do it because I hate party play. And I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna flame me because I'm so weak and pathetic. And they're gonna be so mean and mad at me because I can't contribute to the party. And I don't want to do my dailies because I'm scared. And I don't want to confront that. And I don't want to be flamed in a party. And I wouldn't do it for the longest time because I didn't want to get yelled at. But eventually I did it. And now it's fine. I'm normal now. But it took me a while. And I was like unreasonably upset about it. But now it's okay. Now I just join parties. Make my own party. Hangshu.